seeing ours and things. I'm sorry.
Go crazy. Go stupid. Oh, go crazy. Yeah. Go stupid.
Hey guys, it's Bria and welcome to my channel. So before I get started, I just want to thank all of my new subscribers. As of the filming of this video, I think I'm at 112 subscribers. Yes, 112. And I just want to thank everybody because it has been difficult. It took me a while to actually get the nerve. It took me a lot of hesitation. I was hesitating a lot starting this YouTube channel, and just seeing all the new subscribers and all the comments I received has just made me really happy and really grateful. So I just want to say thank you. This is a little awkward, but yeah, thanks guys. All right, so for anyone who has not seen a video of mine, what's up? And I just want to say that I am a seasonal worker. I go around every 4 to 6 months working different seasonal jobs all over the country. And currently I am at the YMCA of the Rockies in Estes Park, Colorado. And today I kind of want to talk about 10, maybe 11-ish things that I think are some things that I think are important to know about coming to the Y, things that maybe you should know before you get here. And then some of these are just kind of like interesting things to know, but not really that important. But let's go ahead and get into it. So, okay, so first thing that I want to talk about is where HR's office is. So when you first arrive, you will, whether you are coming up with the Estes Park shuttle or if you're driving up yourself, everyone is going to end up in the same big parking lot. From that parking lot, you'll see the admin building with the stairs. I'll put a video in to show you where to go. But do not go up those stairs. Do not go up those stairs. Do not go into the main lobby admin check-in area, because unfortunately someone like me is going to tell you to go back down the stairs. So you pass the stairs, actually, walk in front of the stairs. I'll show you the video. Walk in front of the stairs, and around the side of the building is the door to HR. That is where you go on your first day here. Second thing, this one is really, really important, and it's elevation and altitude sickness. So the altitude here, I think the elevation here is 8,000 plus feet. I'll put the exact number on the screen, but that is pretty high, especially if you're coming from somewhere where the elevation is a lot lower. So I'm coming from Beaumont, Texas, and we're 10, 16 maybe feet above sea level, which means every time I've come up here, first and second time I've come up here, I've gotten altitude sickness pretty bad. It affects people differently. Some people don't get any altitude sickness at all. Some people feel awful. I mean, I've even heard of a couple of people here and there over the years just leaving because they felt so bad. And so I would say, everybody else says this, basically not dehydrate. I was about to say dehydrate yourself. Hydrate yourself. That's all anyone has ever told me, is to stay hydrated, which is hard for me because I am perpetually dehydrated most of the time. And when I travel, I don't like to intake a lot of liquids because I don't like having to go to the bathroom on planes. And also because I had to take the shuttle, I didn't want to have to use the bathroom and be like, "Sir, can I go to the bathroom, please?" And he asked, it just felt weird. So I didn't, I don't like to drink too much water while I'm traveling. So I got altitude sickness really bad, both times. Dizzy, nausea, couldn't sleep, really, really out of breath. I think the only thing that I could recommend is, of course, that you stay hydrated, but that you try to coordinate with your manager / an HR rep to see if you can get here a couple days before you're expected to work. Because typically how it'll play out is that you'll arrive on one day, get settled into your room. Second day you have orientation and you start work on that second day. So if you're having a hard time adjusting to the altitude, that second day is going to be awful. So I would recommend like trying to see if you can get here a couple days before you're expected to work. That is my recommendation. And what makes the altitude like worse here, or the elevation more noticeable, is that there's a lot of walking to be done here on property. You are walking everywhere, and if you are already like out of breath because of the altitude, you will feel that even more strongly because this property is huge. And this is quite literally my third point, is that this property is just huge and you're going to be walking a lot. There's no way around that. That's just something to note. I'll put a picture of the map up on the screen so that you can just see how big the property is and how that leads to you walking up to a lot of places, like the Longhouse to do laundry, or Aspen Dining Hall to you know, go eat. The post office, the admin building, you're walking, especially if you are doing other activities on site, like going to the mountain center to do indoor rock climbing, or going to the roller rink. You will add to your walking, you'll add to the amount of walking that you're doing, especially if you're doing other activities. But even if you're just doing like work, laundry, cafeteria, you're still walking a lot. And that just like, there are times where I'm still like out of breath. The fourth thing is that while this is a family resort, and I will mostly describe it as a family resort, this is also a conference center. So like we have events. Here we have auditoriums and meeting rooms, where we have different groups and events being held on property. Often during the school like time, kids have their field trips here. There are different school groups that come. And I just make note of that because you will often see many groups of people, whether you come in the summer or winter time. There will be large groups on property. Where am I? Number 5. So the whole like group thing plays into number 5. So number 5 is choosing between coming here in like the summer versus the winter. So in the summertime, that is the biggest time of the year. This is a year-round resort, but during the summer you're going to find a lot more people here, obviously, because this is a place to go during vacation, and like summertime, summer vacation. What was this for? I don't know. Summertime, summer vacation. So the summer is the most popular time of the year to come, which is like a double-edged sword because there's a lot of staff as well to meet the needs of how many guests are here. So while it'll seem crowded on property most often, you'll also have more staff to meet. Pros, cons. So there'll be more staff. So you'll like meet more people. There'll be more college students. So that's like a thing. But that also means that the chances of you having like 2-3 roommates is pretty high. You can almost bet on having way more roommates in the summertime than the wintertime. But also like in the summertime, because there are more guests, employees have their own dining hall. So Spruce is only open in the summer. So guests eat in Aspen and employees eat in Spruce, which a lot of people like more than what happens in the fall. So if you come in like the fall, winter, because there are fewer guests and then fewer staff as well, we all eat in Aspen. So even though the winter is the slower time to come, it still can be busy. There are still times we have large groups on property, and that kind of gets a little bit annoying when your only place to eat is Aspen, and then there are large middle school groups in there at the same time. So I will say, like, I will give them props. They're really good about making sure there's enough food. There's never not enough food. Of course, if you come at the wrong time, you may like not have the best like pickings, and maybe slim pickings, but you will always have food to eat. So there's that. So number 6 has to do with like wildlife. A lot of people, I don't know if you know, but a lot of people come to this area around October, the fall, because of the elk. The elk are really the most popular like things up here, besides Rocky Mountain National Park, because we are like right next to Rocky Mountain National Park. But if you are interested in seeing the elk, you need to come in the fall. That's the time to come. Yeah, a lot of people actually just come up here in the fall to see the elk. They'll be like, where are the elk? Where can I go to see the elk? What time are the elk out? As if they're domesticated, as if we have control over them. We don't. They just allow us to stay here. And sometimes if people get too close, they charge. So we get a lot of questions like that about the elk around the fall time. So yeah, that's that. Where am I? So right after I filmed this video, I was on my way to work and I ran into a bunch of deer. And typically I'm not afraid of the deer, but a coworker of mine told me that she ran into a deer and it actually ran at her. Like usually they just sit there and stare at you like, what are you doing here? But she said one actually ran at her. And I was like, after I heard that, I got kind of like nervous. Like maybe I shouldn't be walking too close to the deer. And like, I was kind of afraid this time around. And I tried to like walk off the sidewalk to give the deer some space so they wouldn't think I was like threatening. But yeah, I guess like most people come up here to see the wildlife. But if you're like nervous about that, maybe don't come in the fall. I think just be like on alert when you're walking out, especially at night. Sometimes the elk will sit down on the ground and they'll look like rocks, and you may not notice that you're walking too close to like an elk. Was that 6? Am I at 7? I skipped around actually. Okay, so I think this is number 7. And that is that there's not a whole lot to do in Estes Park. So Estes Park, the town in and of itself, is kind of a tourist town. It is the entrance, like you have to come through Estes to get to the Rocky Mountain National Park. Or like there's an entrance to the Rocky Mountain National Park through Estes. Words are hard. A lot of people just pass through Estes to get to the Rocky Mountain National Park. There are a lot of like souvenir shops, ice cream shops. There's an old movie theater. There's just not a whole lot beyond hiking, because of course, like the Rocky Mountain National Park provides a lot of hiking, So if you like hiking, then like great. But if that's like not your jam, there's just not a whole lot. Like a lot of people, whether they like to hike or not, in the evening will go to the bars in town. And of course there are places here on property like the roller rink, the rock climbing wall, there's the indoor pool, to name a few of the big ones. But there's just not a whole lot to do. Of course, if you have a vehicle, you can go down the mountain and go to Loveland, go to Boulder, go to Fort Collins. But without a car, you're pretty much at the liberty of like, if you don't have a car, then you're really hanging out with friends and trying to like get rides to other places or participating in other events that Staff Experience puts on, which leads me to number 8, and that is that Staff Experience puts on activities. And if you are wanting to meet people, if you're finding that you don't have a lot to do, like pay attention to the calendars that come out. So I'll show you one of the emails that they send out. Let's see. So every month they'll send out an email, Staff Experience, with like things that are going on property. So here's one of those emails. This one's the one for November. And you can just see all of the activities that they kind of have going on. Ping pong tournament. And then at the end, there is the actual calendar to show you all the days that there is something going on. I don't know if you could see that. So I would just say to pay attention to what is going on, because there are usually events for employees, which is one of the things that I can say is like the better thing about the Y, is that there are usually activities for employees, which makes not having a car a little bit more tolerable here than in some other places. So yeah, this is really important to know, is that there's no alcohol allowed on property. So, and that goes for like drugs as well. There's no drug, they have like a no tolerance policy for drug and alcohol. And how can I say this? Technically, I know that technically if they catch you drinking in your room or on property, that you will be fired. That has happened to many people the last time that I was here. And the thing is, this is only really a problem if you're caught. Like, a lot of people unfortunately did not get the memo that if you just drank like an adult in your room, that no one would know. Like, I'm not telling you to do that, but it was always like surprising to me that people would throw parties with alcohol in their room, where their neighbors would end up like calling the RAs or security or whatever, because they were being so loud. And that's how the parties would get like broken up, and that's how people would get fired because of alcohol. It's not because people were just drinking wine quietly in their room, it's because people were having parties. So it's like, well, obviously, like, you're gonna get fired. And I think that people didn't think, like, they didn't think it was serious, that anything was gonna really happen, but it will. So I'm just saying, like, take them seriously, because they would, like, next day people would be gone because they got caught. This is a weird one, but I just noticed it this time around. The first time I was here, I didn't actually notice it. I don't think they even had one. And that is a Wi-Fi firewall. I'm not gonna go into detail about this. I'm just gonna say this. I've run into it a couple times on the internet, looking up what I can't remember. But just think of your like school's Wi-Fi, your school's like internet firewall. They have one here. I'm just gonna leave that information there for you to like pick up and do with what you want or what you will. I ain't gonna say nothing else about it. Are we gonna move along? This is for my people who don't have cars. There is no public transportation here. Of course, like I will and have mentioned, there is the Estes Park shuttle, which will get you into Denver International Airport. But as far as like getting into Estes Park, there's no options besides the employee shuttles that run here. So the Y does have their own employee shuttles. The days change from season to season. So like currently they're running Monday, Wednesday, Friday every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, from here into Estes Park for those of you who don't have cars. But beyond that option, there is no bus system in Estes Park, and there is no taxi. I think there may be one, but I've heard that it's not like a good option. Like, I'm not sure what that would be, but I haven't heard the best things about that option. So I would just say, if you don't have a car, either like girl, go make you some friends that have vehicles, or use the employee shuttles that the Y provides. All right, so I just got an awesome comment from somebody that just reminded me of a necessary bonus tip or important point that I should make. I'm gonna post your like username on the screen, and thank you for the question. So about COVID and the vaccine. So here you need to have proof of receiving the vaccine to be able to live on property as an employee. If you, for whatever reason, cannot show proof or did not receive the vaccine for whatever reason, what was it? You have to have a COVID test done like every week or 2 weeks, something like that. HR does like have the tests, like the at-home kits. So I believe that you would have to go do that with HR. Yeah, and then quickly about the masks. As of November 9th, 2021, things do change often, but as of November 9th, 2021, you do have to wear masks inside. You are required to wear masks inside. Yep, that's it. So that's pretty much all I have to say about this for now. I think I may have some other things to mention later, but I'm currently working on a longer video that is about something that is kind of near and dear to my heart, but I wanted to get this video out first, just so that we can have more consistent videos hopefully soon enough. But yeah, so if you've liked this video, give it a like. You can subscribe if you want to. It's up to you. And I just thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.